Good morning. Welcome to Hardin County Commissioners Court. This is a regular session of Commissioners Court, and it is Monday, August the 8th at 10 a.m. All members of the court are present, constituting a quorum, and the meeting is called to order. If everyone will please rise for the invocation delivered by Commissioner Cooper, followed by the pledge.
Dear Lord, we ask you to be with us today as we go about the business of this county. Help us to make the right decisions concerning our citizens. We ask you to be with our men and women in law enforcement and military. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Cooper. Item number 3, Glenda Austin, County Clerk, approval of minutes of prior meetings. Good morning, Ms. Austin. There's a bunch of them.
Yes. That would be the public hearing on July the 21st, regular meeting on July the 21st, special meeting on July the 28th, and a special on August the 1st.
So moved. Second.
And on the public hearing, was it the 25th or 21st? And also the regular meeting was on the 25th, was it?
Yeah, I've got public and regular on the 25th.
25th, okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Roberts. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Austin. Item number 4, Deborah McWilliams, County Treasurer, presentation and approval of registered claims to be canceled by the court. Good morning, Ms. McWilliams.
Good morning. I'm asking the court to release me of the liability of $926,760.81. These were the vouchers and for the county's bills and payroll expenses that were presented on July 25th, Commissioners Court.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Roberts and a second by Commissioner Kirkendall. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 5, Deborah McWilliams, presentation and approval of cash statement.
In our general checking account, we have $631,771.13. In our investment account at Wells Fargo, we have $6,237,970.50. In our tax pool, we have $3,509,099.16 for a total cash funds of $10,378,840.79. The tax pool rate is 0.36, and if you'll look over, I put for you on the last page, we did receive our monies on the certificates of obligation annex construction for $1,005,385 on August 2nd.
Is that included in the total of the 10?
No.
Move we approve cash statement.
I second it.
Have a motion by Commissioner Cooper and a second by Commissioner Roberts. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 6, Deborah McWilliams, presentation and approval of quarterly reports.
For the second quarter of 2016, in our general checking account, our ending balance on June 30th was $344,477.84. Our investment account at Wells Fargo was $5,837,541.78, and our tax pool was $5,507,523.92 for a total cash funds of $11,689,543.54. It shows a decrease in the cash balance for the second quarter of 2016 in the amount of $2,013,852.50.
I move we approve the presentation.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Cooper. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. McWilliams.
Thank you.
Item number 7, Angela Gore, County Auditor, payment of county bills. Good morning, Ms. Gore.
Good morning. The pre-approved expenditures and transfers for July the 26th through July the 29th, 2016 was $126,448.82. The pre-approved expenditures for August the 2nd was $30,793.68. And today, August the 8th, the expenditures for Commissioners Court are $167,465.99. The total expenditures and transfers are $324,708.49. The gross payroll for August the 4th, 2016 was $405,856.55. FICA was $29,865.09. Retirement was $57,803.03. The total transfers for August the 4th payroll was $493,524.67.
We would pay the bills as presented. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Roberts. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 8, Glenda Austin, authorization to submit invoice for payment in the amount of $2,252.64 to Hart Intercivic for repairs to the election machines.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Pelt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 9, discussion and possible action to approve an order renewing the reinvestment zone of Southampton Resources Incorporated properties for the purposes of possible tax abatement of proposed improvements.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Pelt. I would just like to state that we had a public hearing on this matter on July the 25th at 9:45 a.m. and we had no comments either way regarding that subject. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 10, authorization and approval for county judge to execute a tax abatement contract between Hardin County and Southampton Resources Incorporated.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Cooper. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And Mr. Evans is here with Southampton Resources, and I will sign that as soon as we finish with the meeting and get that to you. Thank you very much. Item number 11, Judge McDaniel, acceptance of resignation of Sharon Spears from the Spindletop Center Board of Trustees and appointment of Ms. Gay Loki to fill the vacancy.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Cooper. Ms. Loki is here, right there, and we appreciate you serving. We had just appointed Ms. Spears back in May, but she has a conflict with the meeting date. She serves on the city council in Lumberton, and they meet the same night that the board of Spindletop meets, so she had to step down, and Ms. Loki has agreed to serve, and we really appreciate that,
Thank
Ms.
you so
Loki.
much.
Very much. Very, very important position. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 12, Sheriff Ed Kane, discussion and possible action regarding approval of agreement between Hardin County Sheriff's Office and Silsbee ISD regarding 2 deputy sheriffs serving as a school resource officer for the school year 2016-2017. I don't see the sheriff here. He called me this morning and asked me that if he didn't make the meeting, there are a few issues that he would like to discuss with the ISD before we move forward with that agreement, so I would like to move it. Okay,
Second.
motion by Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Kirkendall to table item number 12. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to table passes unanimously. Item number 13, Constable Ben Hawthorne, Precinct 2, discussion and possible action regarding approval of agreement between Hardin County Constable's Office Precinct 2 and Silsbee ISD regarding Constable Hawthorne serving as school resource officer for the school year 2016-2017. I spoke with Constable Hawthorne on Friday, and he had asked me that we strike this from the agenda.
I move we rescind.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Cooper to rescind item number 13 from the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And I don't know if the constable would like to speak on that, but I just would like to say he decided to go a different route on that with the school, and that is the reason that that's being removed from the agenda. Item number 14, Lieutenant Aaron Tupper with the Sheriff's Office, authorization for county judge to sign service agreement renewal notice with APRIS for statewide automated victim notification system.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Pelt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 15, Amanda Young, floodplain administrator. Discussion and possible action to approve and accept a replat of Lot 2, Block 2, Pine Acre subdivision into lots 2A and 2B located in Precinct 3. Good morning, Ms. Young.
Good morning. This is just a replat. It's a 10-acre tract. We're dividing it into two 5-acre lots. There's a shared access driveway that they've made provisions for, and it has been approved by Don King with Fitz and Shipman.
And this front's on a, state road?
Yes, sir.
So
It's,
moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Kirkendall. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 16, Ralph Wallace with TCDRS. Presentation and discussion regarding the TCDRS plan assessment and COLAs for 2017. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Distribute these again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Once you get your packets, if you would go ahead and open them up, and I'm going to be going off the printed presentation in the right sleeve.
Ralph, before you begin, I just want to remind everyone, we did try to get Ralph in here July 25th when we were discussing this issue with the retirees, but he was not available. This was his first available date to come, so we're discussing this after the fact, but we do appreciate Ralph coming and giving this information to the court.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir.
If you would, a lot of these first pages are just some general information, so I'm going to skip through that and begin with numbers related just to the county on page 9. So if you would, please turn to that page. Just a quick summary of the current benefit levels the county provides at retirement. You do have your employees putting in 7% out of their paycheck into the plan each month. If the employee retires, the county has set a matching rate at $2 for every one of the employees' dollars at retirement. In order to earn that right to retire, someone has to have 8 years in at the county. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're eligible to retire. They just earn that right to retire. And please stop me if you have questions. As far as being eligible, Hardin County has elected age 60 with at least 8 years, which is one way to become eligible to retire. Rule of 75, just meaning that your age plus your years of service has to equal the number 75, and 30 years at any age. So, of course, depending on when someone starts working for the county, the age they start working for the county will depend on which one of those three they hit first. So, if you move on over to the next page, some statistics on the folks that have worked here and retired from the county. On average, your employees, according to our data, about 47 years of age. The average length of service at the county is about 10 years. And the average retirement account balance is currently at about $32,000 right now per employee. As far as the folks that have already retired from the county, they usually are retiring from here at about age 63 after putting in 16 years of service. And the average annual benefit is a little over $15,000 a year. Now, I want to stop there for a moment because you notice that the average length of service before retirement at Hardin is 16 years. That's probably not what y'all would consider a career employee when it comes to retirement, because your plan's designed to give an adequate retirement benefit to a career employee, okay? And if we move on over to the next page, this is kind of where I'm going with this. Generally, your employees are going to have two other sources of retirement income in addition to TCD. They're going to have Social Security that comes into play, and any personal retirement savings and investments. And correct me if I'm wrong, Debbie, but I think y'all also provide a 457.
457B through Nationwide.
Yeah, which is another way they can put away some money toward retirement. But most financial advisors say that when you're working, you want to put away enough money to be able to replace somewhere in the neighborhood of about 70 to 100% of your final salary to sustaining retirement. So as y'all can see, if somebody under the current benefit levels at Hardin were to just put 10 years in and leave, on page 11, they're looking at replacing about 25% of their final salary from their TCD benefit versus somebody putting in 25 years, replacing about 75% of their final salary. Okay. Once again, this goes back to this being designed for a career employee. If you move over to page 12, the minimum required rate that the actuaries calculate every year to determine the cost to fund the plan as a county on an annual basis, this year is 13.84% of your payroll budget. Next year, that minimum required rate is going to be 13.9, and if you look on page 12, you can see there are different actuarial reasons for rate change from one year to the next. Our long-term, I mentioned a while ago, this is designed for a career employee. Well, members on average put in about 17 years before they retire. And they usually, the length of retirement's about 20 years. So that's 37 years, and the investment philosophy is designed to be 30 plus years as well. Our long-term goal is 8%. And we've been doing a little over 9 for the last 35 years. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. But you're going to have up years, you're going to have down years. Last year we were flat, and therefore that's why you see a little ding on that rate, and every other employer in the retirement system is affected by what happened last year as far as flat investments. You saw what the market did last year. People ask me all the time, well, what's it doing right now for us? Well, y'all have seen what the market's been doing this year. It's a diversified portfolio, but we're probably at about 3 or 4% right now, but we're more concerned with what happens on 12/31, okay?
Ralph, can I stop you just for a second? And I might be getting ahead of you. You might have it in your presentation somewhere. With everything in mind that you just said, is talking about the rates and everything, and the county's 16 years of service as far as percentage, would there be a recommendation to us to get that up, what we could do? In other words, do we have an option of saying go to 10 years to be vested instead of 8, or?
Being that this isn't a traditional defined benefit plan, and by that what I mean is, if some of you are familiar with like the state's retirement plan, for example, someone's benefit gets calculated based on years of service. They also look at a high average salary toward the tail end of their career, usually the last 3 to 5 years, and they use a multiplier. With this thing, whatever somebody puts in out of their paycheck, that's what they're going to get matched down the road. So obviously, the longer they work, the more of a benefit it's going to be to them. So changing vesting, lower investing, has a minimal impact benefit-wise, if that's where you're going on this. Does that answer the question?
I guess basically what I was asking is, as a county, taking these rates in consideration and then some of the percentage you give, with us having an 8-year eligibility to be vested, do you say that's in line with what we have going on, or would you recommend an increase?
Yeah, as far as vesting, that,
It's not gonna play a role.
I mean, most, probably 90+% of the counties that are in the retirement system are at an 8-year vest.
Okay.
If you look back at those salary replacement bars on 11, I mentioned the average person puts in 16 years here. Well, that 15-year bar gives you an idea of how much of their final salary gets replaced from TCD, about 39%, to put you in the ballpark of that. So, once again, it's designed for folks to put in a career here.
Thank you.
Moving over to page 13, I mentioned a while ago that your minimum required rate for next year is 13.9% of payroll, and y'all probably know this already. Y'all send us a little higher electric rate each month of 14.05%. Your minimum required rate is designed to do two things. It's designed to fund the benefits for your employees as they earn them over their career into the future. And it's also designed to pay off any unfunded liability that the county has. And, what causes an unfunded liability? Well, slower payroll than was expected by the actuaries. They look at that. You know, I mentioned a while ago, you're gonna have your up and down market years. '08 recession played a role in that as well. Demographic changes, obviously benefit changes, you know, can have a huge impact. When a county elects to increase benefits, well, they haven't been advance funding that plan since the original game plan. You know, back in '68, when Hardin County came into this thing, your commissioner's court set a 7% employee deposit rate with a 1-to-1 match. Well, since then, y'all have upped that match retroactively, so things like that can play a role in it. There were several COLAs passed, as some of you know, because we've talked about it, from '95 to 2012 that played a role in that as well, even though you pre-funded one of those. But your rate's designed to pay that liability off. It's amortized over 20 years. So by doing something like a higher elected rate like y'all are doing, it goes to pay that off a little faster. And I left some 25-year projections with y'all to look at later if you have any questions on that. Page 14 kind of gives y'all an idea of the flexibility and the control you have as a county commissioner's court to look at your plan every year and decide if the benefit levels that we've been talking about meet the needs for you and your budgets. You know, this gives y'all a good idea on page 14 on how adjusting deposits and matching can affect your costs going into next year. Does that make sense? Any questions on that table? Okay. I know y'all have been discussing doing another cost of living increase for retirees, and I'm on page 15, by the way. And I had given Debbie some information to share with y'all, I believe, but basically, when someone retires from a county, whatever they get, they got, or whatever they chose, they get, you know, and that's it, unless the county decides to give them a cost of living increase down the road. And there are two kinds of COLAs you can give retirees. You've got a flat rate where you just tell everybody, I'm going to give you one flat percentage increase on your retirement for the rest of your lives. And then there's what is called the Consumer Price Index, which is a way you can restore that loss of buying power that they've gotten from inflation from the time they retired until now. Now, obviously, somebody's got to pay for it, you know. And I had given Debbie the number for that. I've gotten to where since the '08 recession, when it comes to employers that do COLAs, not just on a regular basis, but every once in a while, I've just gotten to the point to where I'm recommending that, well, if you're going to do these cost of living increases, let me run an actuarial calculation and give you an upfront cost. That way you can pre-fund that COLA and still keep pace with paying off any liability you already have. So, and I know that y'all were considering the flat rate COLA. The maximum flat rate COLA is determined annually depending on what inflation did the previous year. So for 2017, it's 1% because last year inflation didn't even hit 1%. And so what our board normally does is they vote to either round up or round down from what inflation did the previous year. And based on your retirees that y'all have right now, and I think Debbie probably shared this figure with you, it's about $250,000 to do a 1% flat COLA. So, but other than that, that's the basics.
Ralph, I have one question. You discussed the unfunded amount,
Yes, sir.
and even though that we're contributing more than what we elect to contribute, just a little bit more than what we are mandated to,
Mm-hmm.
that amount still increased. So can you kind of help explain how that happened?
Yeah, take a look at in your left sleeve. I'm going to be going off of this document here.
Says current and proposed plan comparison.
Plan customizer.
Okay.
Yeah, and that 1% COLA was thrown in there, just so y'all could see, what.
In other
what
words,
the
we were
difference
trying to pay that down, but it actually went up.
Well, two reasons. Any actuarial gains or losses, well, could just be one for y'all, but I'll check here in a moment. Any actuarial gains or losses, you feel the effect of for 5 years, okay? Until it kind of plateaus, so to speak. Last year's flat investments is what's playing the role in y'all's increase for next year and all the other 700 employers in the retirement system. If you look at page 3 of that document, this is kind of the crystal ball, and keep in mind, this is a snapshot of everything that happened up until the end of 2015. 2015 dictates 2017's costs. The actuaries like to look at everything that happened in a given year, both locally and across the state when determining rates for the coming year, okay? If you'll notice there that going into 2017, you know, there's that minimum required rate of 1410, which, let me get back here, which, as you can see, is going to exceed that minimum, or that higher electric rate that y'all been sending us. You see it plateaus out at about 2021 at 15.7%, and that's a direct result of that investment being flat for 2015.
And if it's flat or we have a bad year, that could increase again. next
Yes,
year.
sir. Once again, you do have the control to adjust those benefits if it ever got to the point to where it was, you know, as far as lowering matching or deposits. As far as, it looks like that was the biggest impact. We did put some reserves toward offsetting that investment being flat. And I'll back up a little bit, because in years where we do better than expected on investments, usually what our board does is they'll vote to take the additional earnings and put them in a rainy day fund to help offset bad years. You know, I'll give y'all a good example. We had $2.4 billion in reserves before '08, and you can probably guess that we put most of that to help offset costs to employers. But that's the only reason. It's just the flat investments from last year.
And the rate that we pay in is tied directly to the stock market.
I'm sorry.
So the rate that we pay in is directly tied to the stock market. How well it does throughout the year.
That's one of the causes.
Yeah.
You know, once again, there's other things. How many, you know, I'll give you an example of demographics. Based on what's been going on the last 4 years here, the actuaries make these actuarial assumptions to expect it to happen in the coming year. Well, we know that based on how many people quit their job at the county and withdrew their money, and if they do, they lose the matching. You know, that stays with y'all to help fund somebody else down the road. Well, if more of them did it than was expected in 2015, that would be a positive impact and potentially rate lowering. So I guess what I'm trying to say, Commissioner, is it's not just investments. That's one of the biggest ones.
driver,
One of the biggest ones,
Yeah.
that and adopting benefits.
The 77 cents of every dollar paid is directly tied to the stock market, correct?
Got it.
Yeah, 77%.
Yeah.
Just wanna make sure
Well-
everybody knows that.
Not just, I mean, it's a diversified portfolio, but
Right.
yeah.
You mentioned y'all had 2.8 billion some years ago. What do you have now?
270 million is where we're at right now.
270
I
million.
think statutorily, and don't quote me on this, I can get you the exact number. Statutorily, we have to maintain a certain minimum in that reserve, but I can get that number for you if
It's
you'd like.
in the millions now, not in the billions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So an economic collapse or something could play havoc with your retirement fund.
It could play havoc. I mean, if I knew what was gonna happen down the road, I wouldn't be standing here, but yeah.
You'd be hunting another job.
Or I'd be on an island somewhere.
Ralph, it looks like, looking on page 4, that this trend is gonna continue through 2019, where even if we pay in more, that unfunded liability is gonna continue to increase until 2019. then it starts dropping off after that.
That plays back into that flat investment from last year.
And depending on 2017, it could even go up
Could go.
Or go down.
Could go longer.
or go down.
It's not gonna go down, because they're gonna put any extra money in there rainy day fund.
You know, once again, you can always lower benefits, but I know it's not always the most
How many
popular
people's
thing.
in favor of that?
Yeah. Everybody's looking at me going, oh, hey, keep your mouth shut.
It gets you on the way out.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna walk out like this.
Right.
Anybody on the court have any questions? Anyone here in the audience have any questions regarding the presentation by Mr. Wallace?
Thank you, Ralph.
All right.
Does anybody like to speak to, would anybody like to speak to Mr. Wallace after the meeting? All right. Thank you very much, Ralph. We appreciate
And I'll
you.
probably see you in Galveston.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Be careful.
Thank you.
Item number 17, Debbie Mendesabel, Human Resources Director. Discussion and possible action to authorize county judge to sign fiscal year 2017 health, life, and dental insurance renewal notice and benefit confirmation for personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Roberts. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Debbie. Item number 18, Misty Sims, Purchasing Agent. Discussion and possible action regarding sale of a 2000 Ford F-150 extended cab truck, VIN number ending in 7631. Misty? Good morning.
Bids were opened in the purchasing department front office on July 28, 2016 at 2 p.m. Pat Mitchum, Commissioner Roberts, and myself were present. We received one bid from Jason Cooper for $1,501.
Okay, you agree with it?
It's not my truck.
Oh, it's not? I thought you.
Mr.
It's my truck. I'm gonna recuse myself from casting a vote on this because that is my brother that bid, and any commissioner that has a question on it, any question at all, I'll withdraw that.
Okay,
will withdraw
it was
the,
put out by bid by our normal process and everything?
Yes, sir.
Move, we sell it.
Have a motion by Commissioner Pelt,
Second.
second by Commissioner Roberts. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Item number 19, Misty Sims, results in awarding of bids for overlaying approximately 700 feet on Jane Lane and 243 feet on Vernado Trace, located in Precinct 1. Ms. Sims?
Bids were opened in the purchasing department front office on July 28, 2016 at 2 o'clock. Pat Mitchum and myself were present, and the bids are as follows. LD Construction was $5 a square yard, and CMM Construction was $2.39 a square yard.
Good Lord.
Kinda took a jump, didn't it?
Yeah,
Big time. It was what? 99 cents?
Yeah.
Or?
either that or 199.
What was
No, it was
I had-
below a dollar.
I had,
Yeah,
I had
what was
2 miles
CMM's
of-
bid?
Oh, yeah, well, this is
239.
very low,
Yeah,
so that's
that's
right.
why.
239.
I move we go with low bid.
Second.
That's gonna be because of the distance of it,
Right.
is what they told me.
Have a motion by Commissioner Cooper, and who seconded?
I did.
Commissioner Pelt. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 20, Misty Sims, discussion and possible action regarding results from Sheriff's Office sale of miscellaneous items.
Sealed bids for Sheriff's Office miscellaneous forfeiture items were opened on August 5th, 2016 at 2 p.m. in the Western Courtroom. Bree Whitmer, myself, and Scott Milliserville were present.
Did you want Ms. Whitmer to present those?
She was gonna read them.
Okay, sure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Bree.
How about, we have this in front of us and it's open record. If it's okay with the court, how about we just, state who the high bid of each of these items are?
Agree.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Do you want me to read off what's in each lot, or just go with the lot A?
Just the lot.
Okay. Lot A, the highest bidder was Cookie Bilbo with $40. Lot B was also Cookie Bilbo with $30. Lot C was Debbie McGregor for $1,500. Lot D was Rebel Wade with $326.37. Lot E was David Lisenby with $111.11. Lot F was Thomas Tyler Senior with $76.83. Lot G was Dale Wilford for $127. Lot H was Billy Malone with $50. Lot I was Tom Hughes with $40. Lot J, Michael Buffington for
$2.50. Lot K, J Whitehead, with $5.01. Lot L, Michael Buckington, $7.50. Lot M, Rebecca Sellers for $1. Lot N, David Lisenby, $51.39. Lot O, Stacy Grimes, $75. Lot P, Scott Delacerda for $45.50. Lot Q had two bidders with the same, Ross Jordan for $50 and Edwin O'Quinn for $50. We have some names here, if that's okay, we'll draw.
Sure, if you'll have Miss Pat draw.
Edwin O'Quinn.
The highest bidder, Edwin O'Quinn for $50. Lot R, Billy Malone for $150. Lot S, Gerald Livingston for $20. Lot T, Jason Griffin for $65. Lot U, David Lisenby for $41.11. Lot V, Chelsea Peters for $50. Lot W, Tom Hughes for $40. Lot X, Scott Libby for $25, and that totaled up to $2,930.32.
We will sell it after dinner.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Cooper. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Sims and Ms. Whitmer. Item number 21, Misty Sims, discussion and possible action regarding awarding of bids for disaster emergency ambulance services, emergency morgue services, and sanitary facilities. Good morning, again.
Bids were opened on July 15th, 2016 at 2 o'clock in the purchasing department. For ambulance services, we did receive 2 bids. However, after doing some research, we are gonna recommend that we reject those bids. Teresa?
Do you have any questions as to why we want to reject it?
Yeah, if you just would state what the reason is why we would reject those.
It's not fiscally good for the county to get an ambulance contract because if we have a disaster, we request ambulances from the state. And so if we get a contract, it's just the benefit cost ratio is not comparable to what would happen if we did not have a contract. Either way, we're gonna get the ambulances, but if we get the contract, it'll cost the county more.
And does that go the same for the emergency morgue services and the sanitary
We didn't have
facilities?
any bids for those.
But it would,
It would, it
if
would.
we had.
Correct.
I move we reject the bid.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Pelt to reject the bids. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you both. Item number 22, discussion and possible action to set proposed tax rate for year 2016. If the proposed tax rate will exceed the lower of the effective or rollback tax rate, take a record vote and schedule 2 public hearings. This item had to come back up on the agenda because I realized that we did not take a record vote. We had decided this previously, and that was the decision was made by the court to leave the rate at .5762. However, the effective rate is .5713, is that right? So since that is a higher rate, we have to take a record vote, and the chair votes in favor of the .5762. If
Precinct
Commissioner
1, Commissioner votes 5.5762.
Commissioner Precinct 2,
5762.
Commissioner Precinct 3,
5762.
Commissioner Precinct 4.
5762.
So it's a unanimous vote for .5762. That means we will need to set public hearings since the rate is higher than the effective tax rate. All in favor of the motion we just voted, so that passes unanimously.
And that's level with the current rate.
Yes, sir, that is the existing rate. .5762 is our existing tax rate.
We're not raising anything.
Judge,
I made the motion. I guess Commissioner Cooper would be the second.
I mean, second.
Sorry to confuse everybody on that. Item number 23 is setting of 2 public hearings regarding the proposed tax rate for year 2016 and authorization to publish notice of hearing dates, times, and locations in the Silsbee Bee. And I recommend that we do this at our regular meeting, not at the regular meeting, but before the regular meeting on August the 22nd. And I wanted to ask the court if 9 or 9:30 would be better.
Either one.
Does 9:30 give us enough time?
Yes,
Do we
sir.
feel like? Does everybody agree with that?
So
What date said?
9:30 on the 22nd, and then the second hearing, I propose August the 29th. And Ms. Stevens and I talked, and that does give us enough time, as long as we adopt that at the regular meeting on September the 12th. And then just, I'll discuss that in just a minute. So August the 29th at 9:30 a.m. Is that okay with the court for the second hearing date?
You did say the 22nd and the 29th.
22nd at 9:30 and the 29th at 9:30. Yes, ma'am, is that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's a motion from the chair,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Cooper. Any discussion? Commissioner Kirkendall, would you like to, I know that you informed me earlier that you wouldn't be here on the 22nd.
Yes.
So I just want to be sure everyone knows that, and he's okay with us
Yes.
setting that for the 22nd.
We have a vacation plan. I'm not telling my 7-year-old we're not going.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. I just would like to say too that my hope is that on September the 12th, we adopt the budget for the fiscal year 2017. We would have a public hearing that morning, which we will set at our next meeting, but if everybody agrees, we would have a public hearing that morning on the 12th at 9 a.m. on the budget. And then any changes to the budget that have been made between then and now would be discussed in our regular meeting, and hopefully we adopt the 2017 budget at that meeting. Anything further from anyone?
Move adjourned.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Kirkendall to adjourn. We are adjourned.